your dice. Imagine how free your life could be. Don't lose your humanity. You know just what you need. Just add water and a healthy dose of anarchy. Praxis has been slipping. Yellow teeth from too much sin, and modern life is like a cult, and I'm hoping for revolt any second. Slaving away to your labor, and you barely know your neighbor. From the squatters to the schools, every genius, all the fools, breaking free, breaking rules. Imagine how free your world could be. Where is our humanity? You know just what we need. Just add water and a healthy dose of anarchy. Back it up! Imagine how free our world could be. Reclaim your humanity. You know just what you need. Just add water, I said. Just add water. Abolish hierarchy. Just add water, I said. Just add water. Prepare the guillotine. Just add water and a healthy dose of anarchy.
Welcome to Raw. I'm your host, Lena, and you just heard Just Add Water by the Looms, who are here with me now. Hi, Looms.
Hi.
So why don't we start with everyone's name?
I'm Jimmy.
Jimmy,
Corey.
Corey,
Nick,
Nick,
Anthony.
Anthony. So nice, wholesome names. Where does the Looms come from?
So it started out actually as like it started from a typo. I was texting Anthony and I meant to say like LOL in something, and my phone autocorrected it to Loom. And so we were just joking around like, like that should be our band name. And then the more we thought about it, like, you know, our style of music is, at least in the fact that we use acoustic instruments and stuff, it's a little bit more like
Rustic.
yeah, it's sort of rustic and like so, you know, a loom kind of is old timey, and it also a loom is used to like weave things together, and that's kind of like what our message is, you know, like unity among
Okay, so it fit.
people. Yeah,
So
yeah,
it-
exactly.
So
It
it
wound
fit.
up being like
And you all fit. It's definitely a fun sound.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely fun. Definitely different for like. I'm sorry, I have to bring Nick. The washboard. I've
Yes.
never seen anyone young play the washboard. It's always an old man with a beard. Like, so how did you get into that?
So, that's a good question. So, we listened to like it would first start off of how like we first started listening to bands that would like play the washboard, and there was like one of our influences is band Days and Days, and I remember like never hearing the style of music or anything like that, and I saw them and I was like, wow, like that's really cool. So I just wanted to learn how to play it. I was like, it just seems so cool. And like when we first started, we were like a full electric drum set and everything, but then we just started like just messing around, and then you know it's just like started really delving into the washboard.
So you just picked it up and started.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
lucky
essentially.
because the washboard chose him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Okay.
It's divine intervention. The washboard has to choose the person to play it.
And I think it's really interesting that there's no drummer.
Yeah.
That was like you just guys figured we're good with guitars. We don't need another.
I mean,
I feel
we
like
take care of a lot of the percussion with
The bass.
the style of our playing and stuff. You know, I slap my bass a lot when I play it, and obviously the washboard plays a big part of the percussion. So
So
we
it
sort
works.
of are able to like emulate some sort of like fuller percussion, you know, by just sort of.
You fill in. It is a
Yeah.
full sound. It's not like it's missing. No, I didn't listen to the songs and say, "Gee, they really should have a drummer." I mean, no. You definitely have a great sound.
Thank
What's
you.
the next song we're going to hear from you?
The next one is going to be called Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak Kid.
Yes.
Heartbreak Kid. Okay, let's hear Heartbreak Kid. We'll be right back.
It's 3:30, I'm still in bed. It's been pitch black since everyone left. And nothing's more fragile than my self-esteem. And I'm late to every place I gotta be. It's 3:30, I'm still in bed. It's been pitch black since everyone left. Nothing's more fragile than my self-esteem. And I'm late to every place I've gotta be. Trying to keep it together as I crumble apart. Dream I have another crack in my heart. Feeling alone is all I've ever known. Why is there a hole in every step of my own? And in the end, things are what they seem. I dreamt 1,000 broken dreams. The grave's been done, the eulogy read. Here he lies, the heartbreak kid. If there's no God, that would make sense. So the way he never creates a justice. Hear my laughter touch the sky. To see disappointment in everyone's eyes. I fell on the ground and I'm covered in dirt. Trying to get back up and it never works. Sleepless nights and cigarettes. I failed you all, go head toward bed. And in the end, things are what they seem. I dreamt 1,000 broken dreams. The grave's been done, the eulogy read. Here he lies, the heartbreak kid. How many names have been forgotten? I can't begin to explain, but I remember everything. Everything. How many lives were left for nothing? Everybody you don't know. So many died without a hope. Without a hope. And in the end, things ripped at the seams. I can't take one more broken dream. Lower me down, my headstone says, here he died, the heartbreak kid. And in the end, things are what they seem. What they dream of, broken dreams. The grave's been done, the eulogy read. Here he lies, the heartbreak kid.
And we're back. That was Heartbreak Kid. We're with the Looms, who are jokers, if anyone's noticed. They switch names and shirts. Like I don't get confused enough on this show. So you're Anthony and you're Nick. And you don't care about washboards for president, right?
Well, I am his biggest fan.
Oh, okay. All right. No, that was a lot of fun. So who does the writing?
It's a combination. You know,
It's definitely a blend.
You all
Like,
collaborate.
sometimes
Yeah,
I'll bring a song to the table. Sometimes Corey will bring a song to the table. Nick has written some stuff. Anthony brings ideas to the table, and we kind of just put it in a melting pot.
So the
and
first
figure out what we
song
wanna
that
do.
we heard was just
just
for,
add water.
just add water. Who came up with that one?
I wrote pretty much most of it, besides a lot of the further instrumentation of it and stuff like that, but I had most of the words and stuff written all out.
Was it like something you were going to cook and it said just add water?
Well, like, so that one's more, it's about like, you know, I was really thinking about what I could live without, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, you know, there's a lot of things in the world that we think we need and we really don't need them. And I was like, you know, as long as I have water and like my basic sustenance pretty much, I can figure out the rest, you know what I mean? I'll figure it out.
And then the song we just heard,
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah, that was probably out of all the songs we were gonna play, that's the one that was like probably the most collaborative among all of us. Anthony came up with the idea for it, and I guess the rest of us kind of
Are
refined
you
it.
a Heartbreak Kid? Is that the problem?
So, the idea like is in itself that like I'm the guy who like suffers the heartbreak, you know, and it's like when I wrote the song, I was just like, you know, going through nursing school, and you know, I got my job as a nurse, and I just hated it.
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah,
All that education.
yeah.
Why? I know, that's a heartbreak. Okay.
So I mean, it was like, you know, the place where I was at, I just wasn't happy at. I mean, thankfully now I work as a nurse somewhere else. I'm very happy there, but it's just that like,
for you.
thank you. But it's also just like in the same like sense, like my idea was just that like, you know, just going through all this schooling, and now I'm at a place where I just don't like, and I'm like, oh man, like.
And everybody could relate to that in their own way, obviously.
Of
Not about
course.
nursing school, but about
Yeah.
something else.
And that's why it was kind of an easy song for all of us to kind of contribute to. I mean, as funny as it is, it's
Isn't that
true,
the
you know.
beautiful thing about music, though? The way you can, it's more emotional, and not so much what your thoughts, but like you said, like the heartbreak, because you're feeling that.
Right.
It was through the motions, and then that touches everybody.
Yeah.
That's really something special, I think, about the music. That comes through, the collaboration, when you guys are, you know, you could tell. That separates the better from, you know, the not so good.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
What's the next song we're going to hear from you?
That's going to be Punks on Parade.
Punks on Parade. I know there's a lot of fun songs. Okay, Punks on Parade coming up.
Let me share a tale with you from human history. The day the leaders choked and broke society. It's 99% for them with fair economy, pledging allegiance to the world of love and bigotry. A fire, oh, a pyre, burning up the land. They knew revolution was at hand. Stomping in the rain, the blood boiling in their veins. You've seen the signs and think it's time. The punks go on parade. Hey! Go! make a change.
That was Punks on Parade by the Looms, who's here with me now. And we're having a lot of fun with this interview. So now you two guys were the main writers for this song,
Yeah.
Punks on Parade. Do you feel like you're a punk or you were looking at punks?
Well, I guess I would consider myself. I mean, my musical history definitely comes more from punk. When I was in high school, I used to listen to a lot of like Black Flag, even like the Sex Pistols and the old school guys like that. But that song, Punks on Parade, was me and Corey hadn't been in a band yet together, and we just decided to sit down and try writing a song. And this had to be like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean,
And I mean, this band has only been a thing for like almost 2 years, maybe just over 2 years.
It was
So
like
I
6
mean,
years ago.
maybe it was a long time ago. We started writing that song, and we never got to finish it until we started this band.
Yeah.
And we picked it back up. You found it in like an old notebook or
Yeah,
something, right?
and it was-
so we kind of like rolled with that.
And it was cool because we, like, when we were writing it, it was all about like, okay, like we're gonna paint this picture of like a revolution happening, like a bunch of people marching the streets kind of thing. And then we actually went to protest the net neutrality bills in Philadelphia when that was all happening a few years back. And like, so we.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you. So like we were able to pull from that to add more to the song later because it was like now we've been in this experience where we're out there hitting the streets doing stuff, you know what I mean? So it was kind of a
Now,
blend
it's
of that, too.
interesting that you brought up, you guys are together for how long? 2 years?
About 2 years.
Give or take.
Okay. How did you meet?
One man,
Yeah.
Dave O'Neill.
Through a man named Dave O'Neill.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and Nick and Anthony, we used to be in a band a few years ago with Dave, and
We met each other through Dave O'Neill.
yeah. So Dave went to school with the two of you. He went to high school with them for freshman and sophomore year of high school. Then he moved to where I was going to high school, and I met him there. And then after we graduated high school, Dave and the two of them started a band that came to be known as Know Your Roots.
It's terrible.
Yeah. and to make matters
Glad
worse.
you moved on to here, right?
Yeah. To make matters worse, I wound up joining that band. So it was just a collection of garbage, and it was great. And then he moved to Washington State.
Oh, wow,
and
that's
yeah.
far.
very
Well, so
far.
he.
And of course, we knew you
Yeah,
way
well,
before that
well,
as well.
I used to, my house back in the day, it was kind of just like a punk house. We would just let people live there and come crash. Like if they needed a place, they were cool people, you'd have your people go through, And I met Dave through some mutual friends, and he wound up needing a place, so he was crashing at my place, and that's how I met Dave, and then Dave introduced me to the Looms, and then that was kind of,
hated each other too.
yeah, we hated each other at first.
I forgot about that.
Now, are we going to say the name of the next song that we're going to play? Was that in the name?
For the next one,
Yeah.
it sort of, each word of the title is in the title of the song, but it's not really that exact phrase isn't exactly spoken.
Oh, okay.
But the last song we're doing is called Apprehensive Attention Seekers.
Oh, well, that's not what I was thinking
I
about.
didn't think so.
Okay, apprehensive attention seekers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's what we're going to with the Looms.
I'm a breath of fresh air that'll make you choke. The last shred of despair before you die your own. Though I won't ever take all the attention I crave, and in my heart you will remain. In case I ever feel afraid, don't put your blame on me. I've done all that I can. Promise me that you'll never leave or let go of my hand. Don't put your times on me. I'm not a
So that was apprehensive, attentive seekers. Attentive seekers.
Attention.
Attention. What the? Are you? That song is so funny, though. Really, that's a lot of fun.
Thanks.
A lot of fun. Who wrote that one?
That was mostly me.
Okay, bad mood that day, joking around.
Honestly, that song took from a lot of things. A lot of it is sort of about like, I mean, the idea of someone being an attention seeker and being apprehensive is sort of like contradictory, and that's sort of what I was going for with that.
Passive aggressive.
Right, and I feel like I'm a person who's like right in between being like extroverted and introverted, if that makes sense. So it's sort of like
You're pretty
a
social.
conflict.
It's good. You're like a
I
fun
appreciate
man. Come
that.
on.
But in like in other social settings, I feel a little more reserved, or just like, you know, I'm the type of person who like outside of like hanging out with my friends, like I like to be alone. You know what I mean? Like I like my alone time, but I don't know. It is sort of like a funny idea that I had about being like wanting attention from people, but at the same time wanting to like be away from everything.
The double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
When
where
you're
like
alone, nobody likes to be alone. And then when you're out with too many
Yeah.
people, you want to be alone.
exactly.
That's
So, like,
what it comes down to.
Yeah, so that's where like a lot of that comes from. Like, you know, like round and round like a carousel. You're stuck with me on this ride. It's like a back and forth type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love your sound. I have to say that before we go. I think no, really great sound, very
Thank you.
different. So that's an edge, real nice. Absolutely love the washboard. And kudos to you guys for the big switch. So where are you guys from? I didn't get that because we're here on Staten Island.
Right. We're from like South Jersey.
South Jersey. We're closer to Philly.
Yeah, we're
like
we're
right
not
over the
far
bridge.
outside of Philly.
I like Philly though.
Yeah.
Market
Oh, I
Street. I
love
could have a
Philly.
little fun there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Philly's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
So that's like, thanks for taking the trip here.
Yeah,
thank
That
you.
was
Thank you
good.
for having us.
Now, for everybody out there, though, where can they find your music, and do you tour around?
Yeah, so I mean, we play in a lot of different places. I mean, we play in Philly, obviously. We play in Jersey. We'll play anywhere that we can make it. Honestly, like I mean, even being here, like if we can make it, we'll be there. Kind of.
Do you have your own website?
We do. It's kind
It's
of
in
a
early stages.
It's in its early stages. It's a really long URL, but
How do you spell the Looms? Looms, is that it?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I mean, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Instagram, it's like at the Looms Band, and the website's linked through there and everything. We update that with our shows and stuff.
And where can we get your music?
Apple Music,
Apple Music, Spotify, yeah.
Pretty much everywhere.
Google, YouTube.
You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Bandcamp. You can get it on SoundCloud.
MySpace.
Bandcamp. MySpace. Does that still work?
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
but
Does
our-
anybody go on there to check? I don't know.
But yeah, our music's available on all the major streaming platforms. Whatever, anybody can find them. It is on iTunes too. So
Yes,
it's
for sure.
everywhere.
Well, it definitely is a great sound. Had a
you
lot
so
of fun
much.
with you guys.
Thanks. We had fun being
Come
here.
back again.
Yeah,
Washboard
sure,
and all. And, you know.
We only let him out of his cage for things like this. So
Yeah.
it's exciting.
He
Please don't make
lives
me
in a
go back.
cage in a basement, and we only let him out to play shows and work at the hospital. that he
But
works
you
at.
know what? One last thing though. Did you play another instrument before you picked up?
Yeah,
What'd you play?
I play the drums.
Oh, there's your drummer.
Yeah, so I mean, technically.
Look at that. They have one after all.
Sort of.
Thank you guys, and thanks for
Thank you.
tuning in. Don't forget the Looms. See you soon.